everybody.
Hi. Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And this is episode 2 of our podcast.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
So excited for this.
I know. We're going to talk about E-molk.
Yes.
All about E-molk, that fabulous February fertility celebration. Sorry, I had to get the alliteration in there when I saw it.
No, it's okay. So this is the closest pagan holiday that's coming up. And it's very... My husband likes to say that pagans like their parties. Because it's so close to Yule, but it's not.
But right, because
every couple of weeks we have a little party.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is pagan holidays, pagans do like their parties. It's all nature-based, and we've got the cross-quarter days and we've got the quarter days.
Right.
So you wind up with 8 celebrations throughout a 12-month year.
Yeah.
So it's like every 6 weeks. We got shit going on.
Right, exactly, which is fun.
Sorry, guys, I knocked my vape over. If you heard a loud, that was me.
So, E-molk, it depends on how you pronounce it. I believe the correct pronunciation is E-molk.
It's more E-molk, like when you read it,
like
has E-E for the I sound, so it's supposed to be E-molk if you are trying to...
But a lot of us in the States pronounce it E-molk because that's how
you read it. Yeah, exactly. Just like some people say Samhain instead of Samhain.
Yeah. But anyway, they're both the same.
Yeah. But E-molk is one of 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals, much like Samhain and Beltane and Lunasa.
Yes. And so what we will be celebrating when E-molk comes around, is spring is drawing. It is right around the corner. Spring is drawing ever near. Pretty much, we're at the halfway point.
Like for me, crocuses mean E-molk. Like when I see that first crocus pop up, it's like, oh, E-molk's coming.
I'm a little worried.
I like crocuses.
I wonder how it's gonna be this year because I'm not gonna lie, I've had dandelions in my yard in December. Huh. So I did. I
believe it because it's been. Look, we're supposed to have a very mild winter, so is E-molk going to be like almost in full swing spring, as opposed to being the halfway point between Yule and Ostara?
Right. It's like a different. It's different every year.
It is different every year. Like for me, E-molk always makes me think of my middle daughter's birthday because it's right there near her birthday, and. The colors that are associated with E-molk are also a lot of the same colors that go along with the February birthdays. So like sweet pea flowers is one of the birth flowers for February, and amethyst is the birthstone. And with E-molk, like, purple and pink flowers and white flowers.
Yes, that's my thought is pink. But I think
for me
Valentine's Day.
Well, see, I think purple and pink, and it's because sweet pea and purple crocuses, and the fact that amethyst is the birthstone for February. I can't help but think amethyst exists in E-molk stuff for me just because of my kid's birthday. Right. Like I cannot separate them.
So what we're celebrating is the halfway point between spring and winter, which means every day we're drawing closer and closer to spring, which means more flowers are going to be right, exactly. More flowers are going to be popping out of the snow if it snows there. And another thing that I think of is little bunny rabbits eventually coming out, which is
closer. It's funny because I still have bunnies in my yard on a regular basis. Yeah, so that is no longer an association for me, but I get it because it used to be. The little critters that have been hibernating in a way you haven't seen them. Oh, and I mean traditionally, one of the things about E-molk is they used it for weather divination. Right. There's even like an old Gaelic poem about a snake sticking its head out of a hole.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I wasn't about to try and recite all that. So. But you guys can look it up though if you want.
The animals are awakening, and the sheep. It's sheep, right? Or is it goats?
No, the sheep. The sheep are pregnant, and their milk starts letting down because the sheep are able to survive on those little tidbits that are starting to come up from the earth. So historically, maybe still to this day farmers do, I don't know, I only read about the historical part of this. Historically, the sheep were bred first because they could survive on those little bits of grass, so they could be pregnant, so they could start having fresh milk and things like that earlier than they could with cows.
Goat's cheese, goat's butter. I don't know, I love goat's cheese.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie.
I've never had goat I've never had sheep's milk. I'm not a huge fan of goat stuff. So
we're talking about sheep, not goat.
Yep, you're fine. But I mean, goat is so much more common here in America.
It is. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
So, no, you're fine. No.
Lamb.
I got you. Yeah. That's what we had for Christmas dinner.
That explains the look you gave me when I said goats. You're like, but what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
it was okay. I didn't want to be like,
no.
sheep, but like, just bring it full circle. That's all.
Right, exactly. I do love
in
goat's
America,
cheese, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, plus in America, you're probably much more likely to find goat cheese and goat milk to be able to celebrate with E-molk than sheep's. Exactly. Unless you like know somebody.
I
know a guy.
You know, I don't really see sheep around here. Goats are very common.
Yes, they
and
are.
me and Amber live in a very agricultural area.
Yeah.
So what we're most likely to see are goats. I don't know if it's the same with the sheep or not. But anyway, we're discussing.
I think it also probably has to do with where we live. Because when we travel out west, I see a lot of sheep with my husband.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Big old rams, like that's a big hunting thing out in the west. Yeah,
really
huge sheep. Like they have huge sheep.
It's got to be where we live.
Yeah, because I just don't think they're common
sheep
to
at
this
a fair.
area.
At a fair,
totally.
You know, they got them all dressed up, and then they got them all shaved down, looking all
spry, like they're gonna go to school with Mary.
Right. they're like waiting for their prize, so you know they're all shampooed.
Right. But also like I love that it is lambs and sheep because when you mention them being all like spruced up and whatever, they make me think of that white downy snow that you might see in February.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That those flowers are popping up through. And so it's kind of ironic that the animal looks like the weather that it represents is going away.
You're right.
Yeah, but
so that's February 1st and February 2nd is the day that we celebrate.
And E-molk means in the belly. I don't know if we said that when we led up to the sheep part, but that's what E-molk means, and it's because of what we just talked about with the sheep and the vegetation piece. So like it's predominantly celebrated in Ireland, Scotland, and Isle of Man, but it's also to this day still celebrated as far as New Zealand. As far away from Ireland
I
as
see
New
that
Zealand.
because I think New Zealand has
like,
a bunch of sheep.
Well,
they do.
Well, I was thinking that they have like immigrants or people from
that too.
That people from the island that Scotland or the island that Ireland are on. Because Scotland and Ireland are two different islands. I'm pretty sure. I suck at geography, so feel free to correct me, guys. But I know I'm wrong, so it's okay.
Yes. No, I think you're right. Because you have North Ireland and South Ireland. And
and Scotland shares an island with England, right? Isn't that geographically correct?
We don't know.
I don't know. I'm really bad at geography.
Ireland's pretty big.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But anyway, I think there's like a lot of Australia is pretty big, and I think a lot of people from Ireland, Scotland, that area wound up going to New South Wales and Australia and stuff like that, New Zealand, like when it was kind of like the same way that English people came over to America. It's like
would you say that this is celebrated in those areas only by pagans or by everyone?
Well, as we'll get to later, Bridget, the goddess that E-molk surrounds, she becomes a saint.
It's not very popular in America, is what I'm getting at. We don't really have Saint Bridget celebrations in America, do we?
I would bet that in heavily Irish populated areas of like New York.
Yeah, I was going to say like
maybe not New York, but maybe New York. I know, but the East Coast where Irish people came in, I bet that those Catholics do celebrate Candlemas.
Well, that makes sense because they also brought in Samhain. So it makes much sense that they would have that. I just know like
in
our area.
I bet Appalachia they celebrate Bridget a lot. I got some books on Appalachian magic from Corey for Christmas that I can't wait to read. So I'll let you know if she's in there at all.
In our area, I never noticed anything. I don't think.
In our area is where I learned about E-molk. But yes, it's strictly pagan.
Yeah. Versus
but that's not true because I've heard of Candlemas. My mother was Catholic when she was younger, and I've heard of Candlemas, which is the Christianization of E-molk.
Oh, of course. I have a Catholic grandmother, but she never said anything about it.
It's a lesser holiday.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But at the same time, it is a holiday. Like Candlemas is like for Catholics is, I think, lighting candles for Mary.
Yes,
right.
Lighting
And
candles
so
for
like
the
and
Virgin
Mary, yeah, and Mary is huge with.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
so I bet it's bigger than we know. We just don't pay that much attention to Catholic stuff.
Right, because there's not very. There are.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of Catholic around us.
We're in the Bible Belt, so we're full of
There's
Pentecostals and
yeah, it's a
Baptist,
wide array of the
right.
Christian offshoots, but not so much Catholic.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even think of one.
I wonder if they do.
There's the one Catholic church that I can think of that's connected to the high school. That's the only one I can think of.
There's one in Carthage called St. Anne's, and they have their own school. Oh my God! I gave away my location.
It's fine.
But part of me wonders if we have in my town we have a Vietnamese monastery, which is where it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. They have altars all over. It's so beautiful. So I wonder if they do something for Candlemas. You wouldn't really know because the priests don't exactly come and go. It's very secluded. It's very occasionally you'll see them walking around, but mostly they stay inside and they study the Bible. It's very traditional. Very monk-like.
Very monk-like monastery.
I actually saw a monk there. I saw a monk there. I'm sorry.
Right.
I gotta get so excited because I saw a monk. He had the haircut. He had the friar tuck. I mean, the outfit and everything.
He had the haircut?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, bless
he
his
had
heart.
the haircut.
They do that still.
And I don't know. Part of me wonders if it was a cosplayer. But, why would a cosplayer be at a major Catholic festival?
love and hate that so much in every way.
And he had the brown friar tuck thing, kind of like what I'm wearing right now. And it was tied with a rope. Oh my God. What if it was a ghost? Like the Civil War soldier.
Right? I was just thinking about that, but I was like, that's your story to tell.
Right. We'll get there in later episodes.
Right.
But now, it was so quick, and the fact that I saw him, I'm just like, oh my God, I saw a Catholic monk. They're real. But now I question myself, what if it was a spirit? You know what I mean? But they were everywhere. I wonder if they do something for Candlemas. I guess we'll never know because they're so secluded.
They are secluded. I don't know, but that's I know that regular churches do stuff for Candlemas, not because I've gone, just because I do have friends that are Catholic, and I am aware of the things that they do to a degree.
I've been to Catholic
not much.
Mass a couple times, but never on Candlemas, so I'm not entirely sure. I know they do some beautiful work, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder. And can you just imagine the flames in the fucking glass windows? Oh, I bet it'd be something from the History Channel,
right? I'm getting images of mafia movies where people have gone and lit candles and there's just a wall of red,
and it's whoosh.
Yeah,
the flames are just
and they've got the red molded
and then
glass,
you've got cue scene of Jesus looking horrible,
he's looking
mean?
down on the one gangster.
No, he's on the cross. He's on the cross, and it's it's so horrific, but beautiful imagery.
But beautiful, yes. That many candles flickering in the wind. Beautiful.
And on the glass. I'm sorry, Catholics, but they have beautiful churches.
Oh my gosh.
I
legit asked my mom if we could convert to Catholicism as a child because the pomp and circumstance, I wanted it. And my mom was like,
oh, it's so beautiful. It really is. I've been to a couple Catholic funerals and Catholic, masses, and it's gorgeous.
And everything. It's just beautiful.
Oh, they use the incense.
I know.
And it's very pagan, which makes sense because we're talking about E-E-molk.
Yeah.
How much, it's literally a festival that is pagan and Catholic.
Right, yeah. And it's, it's I say all the others, but I mean, E-molk was a popular holiday with the Irish, Scottish people because they were, Bridget was beloved to them.
Oh, yes.
And so when Christianity came in, oh, great. Well, we have this woman, Bridget, opens a bunch of nunneries in Ireland. Yeah, let's just give her a bunch of the attributes of the goddess Bridget, make her an easier pill to swallow for giving up, your goddess and taking on a saint instead.
Right, exactly. They have the same name.
They do. Right.
And I believe, Bridget is goddess of the hearth of flame and a bunch of other things.
She is. She's actually like a threefold goddess.
She
it's
has
very interesting.
But definitely the flame is very important to her.
Her name means the exalted one.
Mm-hmm.
She's a member of the Tuatha De Danann, and I just wanted an excuse to say that.
Well, she has 3 sisters, but it's been up for debate on whether. 3. Yeah, it's up for debate on whether they're actually sisters or the same goddess threefold.
Or there's also debate on whether or not the word Brigid is less a name and more of just a title of goddess in that pantheon. Because they have Brigid the Smith, they have Brigid the Healer, and Brigid the wise woman and poet. And sometimes she's mentioned as the same, sometimes she's mentioned as sisters, and sometimes, like I said, in the last thing that I read about it was some people believe that Brigid was a title in Ireland for goddess versus being a specific goddess, which made a lot of sense if, reading that after reading the other 2 things, I was like,
Well, you say that, and that reminds me very much of similar, not actually nowhere near similar, but the Morrigan, which is Irish as well, I believe. Again, threefold goddess, so 3 sisters or threefold goddess. They don't, there's that 3 faces, which is war, sexuality, and then something else I can't remember. So, like you said, there's up for debate on whether it's a title or a name. Exactly.
Right. And how are we
and
ever gonna know?
I bet that there if there's at least 2 like that, there's more.
Yeah,
I believe it's got to be the Irish. You know what I mean?
The Irish just like doing that.
Right.
I mean, I could see that. I've discussed with you what my personal belief is that there's many different energies, and they're all part of the same one whole, and we just give them different names for personification purposes.
Yes.
So it makes sense that, this energy holds multiple facets, and so this energy we call Brigid, but she incorporates these things, and this energy we call Morgan, but she incorporates these things. You know what I mean?
Oh, I totally
in my own personal belief, it makes perfect sense.
I believe very similar to that, but I am a Hellenic pagan, so mine is more with the Hellenic versus, Irish.
I'm definitely an eclectic. I just absorb. I'm a sponge.
So with, speaking of Brigid, I had read, and I don't remember if this is Brigid, so please correct me if I'm wrong, Amber. I know that Brigid is smith work, like you said, the hearth. She's also the flame. Someone is very into water wells.
Okay, so that it's not that it has to do with her as the healer. And it's the healing water. So part of one way that you celebrate E-molk is going to the healing wells or the healing springs in your area, because the healing waters are associated with Brigid. Although she is not specifically a goddess of water, but the healing waters are associated with her because she's Brigid the healer.
So as a modern pagan, that makes me wonder if you could leave some water out, like you would moon water, and make it specifically for healing. Brigid healing water.
I think so. I think that would be
that's actually
a really good idea. And she's also the goddess of domesticated animals. She herself had 2 oxen, whose names I didn't write down. It was like Mayor and whatever. I wasn't going to go into that. But she also had the king of boars and the king of wethers, which is a castrated sheep. That's what a wether is. I had to look it up because I didn't know. So I was like, the king of wethers, what animal is this? I've never heard of a wether.
Is it bad that I was kind of like, what's the point of a castrated sheep? I don't mean that in a shitty way.
I guess the wool.
I guess that's a good idea.
But, because of, she's also associated with keening. She is associated with creating keening.
Yes.
And
so it's beautiful.
Right, and they say that her, her oxen and the king of boars and the king of wethers, they give warning calls for her or something, and that is associated with her keening legend.
Have you looked up interpretations of keening? Oh, it's beautiful.
I was actually planning on listening to keening this morning, and then I didn't. Because
it's like, if it's
I
what
didn't
I'm
sleep well last
referring
night.
to, if it's what I think.
It's like the mournful wailing, singing.
But it's beautiful.
It is.
It's
yeah.
gorgeous.
I mean, I fully believe we don't mourn well, but that'll be a different episode. So,
yeah. Well,
we know how I get. I get long-winded.
Bridget being a beautiful goddess, and the Irish being extremely loyal to their beliefs, as they have throughout history, be it pagan, Catholicism, etc.
Right.
The Christians, or Catholics specifically, came in and they said, okay, well, we've got a saint named Bridget as well. And she was the saint of nunneries, like you said.
Yeah, she was also the patron saint of babies, I read in one place.
Midwives. I had read midwives.
And I've read of Bridget as the mother goddess in many places. She was referred to as the mother goddess.
Which would make sense.
Which would make sense why they would make her,
So the Saint Bridget was known to feed the poor, but aren't all saints known to feed the poor? Isn't that what makes them a saint?
Right? I don't know. Like, the thing that I read the most about why Bridget was canonized was her opening the nunneries. That was on an actual Christian website. They didn't mention anything about her actually taking care of the poor at all.
I suppose that would make sense because nuns took care of the poor, but from what I understood, from what I read, she came from a very poor household, and that's why she wanted to take care of the poor, because she kind of understood where they came from, and she felt bad for them. And once she had the ability to take care of them, she did. But
that
again,
makes sense. That's very much like St. Lucia's story too, which is so funny.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Well, isn't that all saints?
Right? I know. But see, here's the thing. I couldn't find that she was like that she had a horrible death, which when I did the St. Lucia story, that's what I said. I was like, she died horribly, guys, so like, sorry, I'm gonna go into these details. Alive. And then I was like, but all saints have a horrible death. That's how they become saints, right? So I was like looking for what happened to Bridget. Did she die in a bad way? But I couldn't find that.
The Catholics were like, oh, she didn't die.
Yeah, they were like, no, this lady's name was Bridget, so we're making her a saint because she's Irish.
Right.
And it'll make the Irish happy to be Catholic. That's all I can figure, because like what I read was that her mother was poor and her father was a nobleman, but her father pieced out.
Yes, exactly. So she
was raised poor, and then after her mom died, her dad came back in the picture and was like, "You're gonna marry this dude," and she was like, "No, I'm not. I'm dedicating my life to the poor." So
like Rosalind and Romeo and
Juliet. Right. Exactly.
That's so funny. She's like, "Fuck you, I'm a bastard."
And her dad was like, "Okay, fair enough. You have convictions. I'll let you have them." And then she went and opened a bunch of fucking nunneries. Which, like, one of them, it said that no man can cross the hedge outside of it or he'll go insane.
When I think of St. Bridget the nun, I think, oh my gosh, all the nuns I've met have been so kind. You know what I mean? Like, they portray her as this kind, wonderful person. But in my head, I see her as angry. Like no man
can come through here.
No,
my
it's
eternal
a ruler.
flame.
It's a ruler.
Oh, yeah, because she's a nun.
Exactly. I am so sorry. Maybe I should not have said that. I hope that's not offensive.
I mean, so, look, nobody can help but pop culture makes come to your mind. Right?
Exactly.
And that is definitely straight out of pop culture reference.
Nuns,
yeah.
Right?
That is straight out of, like, I'm sorry, like, everything that you said made me think of Sister Act 2.
I was going to say Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, where she's a little kid in school getting in trouble. And
my dad went to Catholic school because my grandmother is Catholic. And he said the nuns were mean. He said that if you got in trouble, they would spank your ass, like no joke. Like they believed in capital punishment in that school. Like
I don't think it's the same way anymore.
Is it capital punishment? I think
corporal punishment.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like capital punishment is like dying.
But they also believe in that because they're an eye for an eye kind of people.
Right. Corporal punishment, like you would not believe.
Yes, corporal punishment is where like you're allowed to get hit in school and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he was like, he would get his ass whooped all the time.
Like, let's be clear, I'm from Texas. I'm pretty sure corporal punishment was allowed in some of the schools I went to.
I absolutely believe
Much love, Texas. I love you, Texas. I do. Like, proud to be from Texas, but I'm gonna make jokes because I'm from Texas and I can do that.
You know, I laugh, but actually, I had recently read that nuns are slowly becoming a dying breed because not many people are wanting to convert anymore, which, you know, kind of makes sense. I mean, it's 2022. Women are becoming more empowered.
Right.
I've seen a couple nuns when I went to the Catholic Church, and it was very sad. They were actually discussing not many women want to become nuns anymore.
Well, I mean, I can understand. Like, you have to sign up for a life of celibacy.
Exactly, and it's 2022, and people want to have sex.
Exactly, because like maybe in a time when like birth control wasn't a thing that was available, and you didn't want to have children, so nunning, like becoming a nun was, you could devote your life to your religion, and you didn't have to worry about having children. In a time when childbirth could be dangerous,
right?
You know.
Well, they were talking about a lot of nuns were coming from Mexico. And different places, but not very many in America anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, I mean, between like what we have available to us with technology and science and everything else, like where's the enticement? Like,
it does make me sad
because
it's just a tradition that's slowly
right, and that is sad, and I definitely agree. But I get it. I don't agree with it going away, but I do understand why it would be.
It's because we're outgrowing it. I hate to say outgrowing, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because again, like you're asking people to sign up to give up all of their free will in a way.
Oh yeah.
People aren't cool with that so much anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But priests are fine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They've also gotten more things that they're allowed to have families now. Mm-hmm. You know, it's different. They've been given more freedom, so it's easier for them.
Exactly right.
But by keeping you withholding these pleasures of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't.
Where's the enticement outside of a devotion to religion, which is wonderful if you have such a devotion to your religion.
Not many people do.
But not many people do anymore.
With, like you said, pop culture and with just modern life, it's just sad. It is, but it happens. It really does.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've been talking so much about nuns. But I'm kind of loving
Saint
it.
Bridget, yeah.
I'm loving it. Like,
yeah. I mean, so this is a show where you're gonna hear about all sorts of different paths. Like, I was raised Presbyterian and Methodist. Maddie was raised.
So I have some Catholicism that we really went into with my grandmother, and then just basic, I guess. We just called ourselves Christian. We just went to Christian church.
Christian. Yeah.
But I had gone to Pentecostal churches as well. So the thing about the Bible Belt is you can go to any church and it's something different.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's how Corey was raised.
I'm in a town of 3,000 people and there are 25 churches. And I wish that was a joke. I wish that was a joke. It's not. There really are 25 churches in town, and you've got Baptists, Southern Baptist, you have Pentecostal, Mormon, you know, you've got Catholic. There's one Catholic. God rest. Like, just, you know, hang in there. You know?
Well, and here we have a non-denominational church in the city I live in Joplin. See, I'll give myself a
Thank you.
I usually don't. I mean, if somebody really wants to find me, please don't.
It's a bigger city than my small one, though.
Yeah. Well, still, don't find me. It's fine.
All they have to Google is Vietnamese monasteries in Missouri, and boom, there's my town. Because there's like one.
Yeah. I guess there's probably more non-denominational churches out there than just the one here, but. Yeah, it's just we'll talk about all different paths and not just pagan paths because, you know, what the fact is that a lot of the holidays we're going to talk about, they have Christian crossovers and they have
because Christians crossed over.
Yes, you know I know, right? And we're going to discuss that, right? We're not going to say it in a mean way. We're not going to say it in a bad way, but you know, it is a thing where. Just like anything else, when you're trying to get somebody on board, you give them something, and that's what the Christians did.
Oh my gosh! You know, like they completely changed like Ostara. I think that's one of your favorite ones.
It
Ostara
is.
was like a really fertility one. You've got the eggs.
Oh yeah,
but
the
it's
bunnies.
like,
it's all
and
fertility.
then they're like, wait, no, this is Easter.
Right.
You know
this
what
is
I
about
mean?
murdering a zombie. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to be offended. Sorry, I'm just saying. You know.
Yeah.
It was,
So it
yeah.
very much. It
Yeah.
very much completely changed on its head.
Mm-hmm. But still kept bunny rabbits and Easter eggs.
Right,
Crazy.
exactly. Well, which is
Crazy.
so funny because bunny rabbits are that like
Uber
obviously
fertility.
Right. Oh my god, have you ever seen a
Fucking
bunny?
like rabbits.
Have you ever seen one? It's horrible. Unfortunately, I have, and
I have never seen the copulation thereof. No. We've only ever had single rabbits, I think.
I don't understand how they even like. It's like this. It's like boom, done. Like it's so fast. Like it's just. I'm sorry, I'm talking about rabbits fucking, but
So this is not about the female rabbit having any satisfaction.
I don't think any of
Any
them.
of
I don't
them.
know how anyone can have that much or have any satisfaction
Satisfaction.
within like 5 seconds. That's literally what
Yeah.
it is. It's like boom, 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 done. That's it. So when the
Literally fucking like rabbits.
fucking like rabbits, it's just they don't
Yeah.
stop, and
That's
it's just
crazy.
really. I'm so sorry.
That's
like
so funny.
we were talking about Astoria.
Yeah, bunnies. Yeah, no. But
Anyway,
okay.
So good ways to celebrate Imbolc as a modern pagan, and how
Okay.
they celebrated them in the past.
Okay.
Would be how do you celebrate Amber if you want to share?
Well, again, I generally associate
Mm-hmm.
E-molk with my middle daughter's birthday.
Mhm.
So I generally put out purple and pink flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I usually light a white candle.
Mm-hmm.
And I have amethyst around. That's what I do. Now,
Mhm.
through this research, I've learned other things that I can do that I'm going to incorporate.
Well, you know,
but that's been my go-to.
of course, you know, and I call me a bad pagan, but Imbolc is not one that I necessarily go all out to celebrate. I don't think
No,
it's
I mean,
one
it's
that
not.
many people do.
Right, yeah.
I would hate to label it a lesser holiday.
Right.
At least for me. So I guess maybe I will do a meditation on spring coming. And maybe I'll take some offering outside. One I go to with offering is herbs, of course, but that's because I primarily work with herb craft and
no,
teas.
I totally understand. Herbs are one of my go-to
offerings.
not donations. Offerings.
Yeah. So
I'm donating this to you guys.
also right. She's like, thanks.
Thanks. I'm gonna give you
Maybe-
a 501c3 number. You can write that donation off.
Maybe I'll light an incense or two for the goddess. I think this year, since we've been doing research on this, I'm really thinking I may leave something out for Bridget to bless.
Yes.
My shoes.
Yeah.
Somebody had said to leave Bridget or your shoes out to bless, so that the goddess will carry protection with you everywhere you go.
I love that. Yeah, I read that historically speaking, dishes made from the first milking of those ewes that were giving off milk that kicked off the E-molk celebration.
Oh, you mean like food? I thought you meant
yeah.
like plates. I was confused when you said dishes. I was like,
oh yeah, no, dishes like butter and breads and stuff that were made from it. There's actually an unleavened oat cake that's called the Bannock Bride in Ireland or Bannock of Bride in Scotland. And that's a very traditional food offering to leave out apparently for Bridget. But when I saw it in the article I was reading, it was really pretty because they had like purple and pink flowers on top of it in the pan. Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty.
really pretty.
I know that you made a type of, was it for Samhain?
For Samhain, I made koliva. It's
Yes.
a Slavic food for the dead. But like from what I read with Bridget, it's predominantly just like things that are made with that milk that comes, you know,
Like
so
mashed
butter,
potatoes.
like mashed potatoes, the perfect food. That's right.
Right, exactly.
I think I might leave some potatoes out for Bridget.
She's
just because
Irish.
She
I
is.
love
And,
it.
you know, I'm predominantly Slavic, but then the
Carve
next
a
biggest is Celtic.
Pentagram into the
The
potatoes.
Oh my god.
That would be cute. Or
That would be so
faces.
pretty.
Go super Irish, because I know they used to carve
They did.
faces in different like. But that's again a sound.
No, yeah.
but
It's
it's
an Irish thing.
It is an
Oh,
Irish thing.
yeah.
But I would definitely carve a pinnacle in it. That's just me though. That was one of the
I
things
love that.
So you can bring if you feel comfortable, not everybody, I think amber is one that doesn't. I may be wrong. Plucking some flowers to bring onto your altar.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people do.
Yeah,
some
a lot
of
of
the
people
first flowers.
I just have some weird beliefs that popped in my head and I can't get rid of them. It's not a anybody else thing, it's a me thing. Well, it's me and the universal download I got.
Or some people just don't want to pluck the first flowers, you know.
Yeah.
But definitely acknowledge them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people that, if this oak tree gives you an acorn, it's very good luck. You should put it on your altar for the season and then bring it back
I
outside.
love it. That's what I do.
And
I did that this year.
I won't say that I don't put anything on my altar. As you can see, I have things on my altar, but they're gonna go back outside.
Right.
They've been there for a couple weeks. They're gonna go
outside.
outside, and it's nothing that I took out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It was already
given
disattached. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was already disattached from the earth when I brought it into my altar. But yeah, I granted I see nothing wrong with plucking the flowers for anyone else. Like, please don't misunderstand. This is just a me view. But there's lots of ways you can celebrate E-molk. Spring cleaning is
I was
huge.
Gonna say that.
Yes.
I was gonna say cleansing, because when I do my spring cleaning, I clean spiritually and I clean physically. So I'll do the full cleaning, and then I will light some dragon's blood and go through the house. Have the windows open if the weather sees fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Let's see. We mentioned visiting bodies of water.
Yes.
That's one way historically
that
and today. Yeah, I was gonna say, I do want to do that as well. I like that. The very first thing that I learned about E-molk, and something they used to do, and you can still do today, is you can make Bridget dolls or Bridget crosses out of wheat,
straw. You can do grass, like sweet grass. I see a lot of them made out of sweet grass, which is cool, because now that I think about it, if you make one out of sweet grass, then you can burn it and it'll smell nice, and it'll be nice and cleansing.
Yeah. And sweet grass is pretty pliable, because the straw you have to soak the night before so you can do it, is what I was reading. I've never actually made one.
And if you burn it, Bridget is a goddess of the flame, a goddess of fire.
So and fires or bonfires are a way to celebrate E-molk as well. So you could do the whole thing, because back in the day, they used to make an effigy of Bridget, and then they would take that throughout the village to every house to bless the house.
Right.
And sometimes characters called straw boys would join in this little thing. But then, at the end, I don't remember if they burned the Bridget doll at the end, but it definitely made me think of Marzana in the Slavic areas, because she is not celebrated like Bridget is, but a Marzana effigy of straw is taken out at the end of winter and gone to every house to absorb all the negative stuff and to clean out all the disease and illness from the winter. And then she's burned and then drowned to get rid of all the bad shit.
It reminds me very much of the American tradition, Burning Man, which
is
pagan.
Celtic.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. So I bet they did burn the Bridget doll at the end, just in one of the bonfires, because they would have had bonfires.
So, if you were going to do a ritual at E-molk, you can do a specific E-molk ritual, or if you were going to do any spell work at E-molk, something that just occurred to me would be to work on maybe prosperity, for the simple fact that it's a fertility, the cup overfloweth type.
Yeah. They did a lot of divination. A lot of it had to do with love, fertility, and the weather.
Yes. All right, well.
Sorry, I got a little.
No, it's okay.
I heard my dog barking, and I was like, damn it, who let the dog outside? And it's probably my husband got home from work, so sorry, guys, if you can hear the dog barking. I hope you can't, but that's what my face was. And then I had to catch up with, we're talking about divination. But one thing I did read was a lot of the foods that are used for this time, for the feasting at this time of year, they represent the yellow sun. So things with egg yolks were used. Pancakes were a traditional food because they're yellow and round. Yes. And to this day, Saint Bridget's
potato pancakes.
Oh, that would be
I
a
keep
great
bringing
way
up
to
potatoes.
celebrate.
I'm not trying trying to be really I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but
no, that's okay.
pancakes.
But I have always toted what an Irish girl I am, and I love me some fucking potatoes, not pancakes, but potatoes. I love potatoes.
You could make potato pancakes.
You could, and that would be a great way to celebrate E-molk too, because you got the potatoes, you got the
fry them up, boil them,
stick them in a stew.
Right.
But and additionally, one thing that I read that really was interesting, and it reminded me of when we did our video back at Samhain, they put trinkets in the pancakes and cooked them up. And wasn't that a Samhain thing that they put trinkets in something?
It was either Samhain or Yule.
Okay, I know for Yule we definitely figgy pudding.
Gift, figgy pudding. That's what I'm thinking of. So maybe you're right with the other one, but that's cool. Like you can do like a little wedding ring. I think I said that last time too.
Oh yeah, like, and that would make perfect sense with the whole fertility and love piece.
Oh my god, I bet they
Bridget.
did. There's no history backing this up. I haven't looked it up, but
but
like
we're just saying this makes sense. Yeah, it makes total
maybe that's
sense
where the
us.
tradition came from in the first place. They're like, I'm gonna put the ring on the breadstick.
It came from Bridget.
It came from the milk, from the
milk,
or the butter. So anyway, if you enjoyed this podcast, this is episode 2. Check us out on
Patreon, where Witches Talking Tarot. Hopefully you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe.
We are also on Instagram, Witches Talking Tarot, and we are on Twitter,
Classiest
Witches. All right.
Classiest Witches. Yes.
But yes.
But yeah, definitely hit us up on that Patreon. We would love to give some more people to shout out to in our behind the scenes stuff.
And I believe we've got tarot readings coming up.
Yes,
if that's something you are interested in, check out our shops.
Yes, visit me at ambersthecolor.com.
peaceloveandtealeaves.wordpress.com.
Yes.
And we
get yourself a Witches Talking Tarot reading, specifically created spread for this podcast and you.
6 to 8 cards. We're going to be talking to you personally
on the phone.
While we give these readings. I hope you join us for our next one.
Yeah, we'd love to see you. We'd love to see you next time.
Haven't figured out how to end these. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye, guys.